America gets a lot of heat online. From TikTok memes to late-night punchlines, the US gets clowned constantly. But jokes aside, there's one truth that few countries would ever say out loud. You do not want to mess with the United States. Because behind the noise is a nation that has invested more in its military might, reach, and technological warfare than any other civilization in human history. It doesn't matter whether you're talking boots on the ground, eyes in the sky, or missiles underwater. The US is always prepared for conflict, and when they start, they see it to the end. Today we're breaking down 7 serious reasons why any nation thinking of challenging the US on the battlefield might want to think again. If you thought America was just fast food and football, sit straight. It's time for a reality check. Let's start with this. The United States has 13 active naval fleets operating around the globe. That's not a typo. These fleets are spread across nearly every ocean on Earth, covering 100% of the globe. From the 3rd Fleet in the Eastern Pacific to the 7th Fleet stationed in Japan and the 5th Fleet in Bahrain covering the Persian Gulf, the U.S. Navy does more than defend the homeland. It also defends the world. It's the only country that maintains this level of global maritime dominance. That means if something goes down in the Taiwan Strait, the Red Sea, the South Atlantic, or even off Antarctica, the U.S. is already there. This network gives the U.S. real-time strikeability, sea control, and an unmatched logistical advantage. Now that you know the scale, let's talk firepower. The U.S. Navy is an unstoppable force. It operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, and each one of those floating cities carries more aircrafts than the Air Force of most countries. Case in point, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the newest supercarrier, cost $13.3 billion to build and houses 75-plus aircrafts, electromagnetic catapults, and 2 nuclear reactors. That is just one ship, and yet it is a nation-ending weapon all by its lonesome. The Navy also deploys over 290 combat-ready vessels, from Aegis destroyers like the USS Curtis Wilbur to Ohio-class submarines, which can unleash up to 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles without ever being seen. And here's the real flex. The U.S. Navy's annual budget exceeds the total military spending of Russia, China, and India combined. No nation today can challenge U.S. sea power without risking complete annihilation. You've seen tanks in video games, none of them compared to this. The M1A2 SEP V3 Abrams is America's main battle tank, and it's basically a rolling fortress. Weighing over 66 tons, it can go 70 kilometers an hour, hit moving targets at over 4,000 meters, and take hits from just about anything that's not nuclear. Its depleted uranium armor makes it nearly indestructible, while its 120mm smoothbore cannon can blast through Russian T-90s or China's Type 99s like they're made of aluminum. In the first Gulf War, Abrams tanks completely destroyed Saddam's armored divisions, and in 2 decades of war across Iraq and Afghanistan, U.S. tank losses have been astonishingly low. And don't think it's aging. The V3 upgrades have added active protection systems, upgraded computing, and improved sensors, turning the Abrams into something more like a sci-fi super tank than anything rolling on Earth. If you see one of these in your neighborhood, it's already too late. The United States has one of the most advanced cyber warfare programs in the world, coordinated through U.S. Cyber Command. In 2010, a top-secret operation called Stuxnet, developed by the US and Israel, was deployed against Iran's Natanz nuclear facility. The malware damaged over 1,000 uranium enrichment centrifuges, setting back Iran's nuclear ambitions without a single missile. In 2016, the US launched Operation Glowing Symphony, targeting ISIS's online infrastructure. American cyber units hacked into servers, deleted propaganda, disrupted communications, and exposed identities, directly aiding military strikes on key figures. To keep pace, the U.S. allocated over $1 billion in 2023 alone to bolster offensive cyber capabilities, with emphasis on threats from China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. These operations are often invisible, but they can disable critical national infrastructure, disrupt military coordination, and paralyze financial systems, all remotely, without physical confrontation. The scale and reach of these tools make them a serious global deterrent. If America can strike from the ocean, the battlefield, and inside your firewall, what else is it capable of? We're only halfway through. Hit subscribe if you're starting to see the bigger picture, and drop a comment with the power you think most nations still underestimate. The United States maintains a powerful nuclear triad: land-based missiles, stealth bombers, and ballistic missile submarines. This three-part system ensures retaliation even if one or two arms are destroyed. Roughly 400 Minuteman III ICBMs sit in reinforced silos ready for launch. Ohio-class submarines, armed with Trident II missiles, hide under oceans and can strike from thousands of miles away. B-2 and B-52 bombers patrol U.S. airspace, ready for long-range nuclear missions. All legs are constantly maintained, upgraded, and deployed to ensure no single attack can take them out. This survivability makes surprise nuclear strikes against the U.S. virtually suicidal. No other nation possesses this level of redundancy or global reach. America's next-gen systems, like the Columbia-class subs and B-21 bombers, will make that threat even more severe. In global warfare, it's not who fires first, it's who can still fire after being hit, and the U.S. always can. The U.S. Special Operations Command oversees around 70,000 elite personnel: Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Delta Force. These units specialize in sabotage, hostage rescues, counterterrorism, and covert warfare. In 2011, SEAL Team 6 entered Pakistan undetected and eliminated Osama bin Laden. No permission, no warning. Similar missions occur across more than 80 countries. These forces operate in deep secrecy, often without formal deployment or public trace. They're armed with stealth helicopters, night vision, and real-time satellite intel. Many train in local languages and guerrilla tactics. They don't wait for war. They move on targets. Most nations can't match the speed or reach of these units. What makes them terrifying is this: they can strike anywhere, anytime, without notice. They aren't regular troops, they're America's silent edge. For enemies, the nightmare isn't invasion, it's realizing the U.S. already acted before anyone saw it coming. Military strength aside, America holds a deadlier weapon: the dollar. Over 60% of the world's foreign reserves and most international trade rely on the US dollar. Nearly every country, often rivals like China and Iran, conducts global transactions through dollar-backed systems. This gives the US immense leverage. If a nation defies it, America can freeze assets, block banks, and cut access to SWIFT, the network that enables global payments. In 2022, over $300 billion in Russian reserves were frozen overnight. Iran, Venezuela, and North Korea have also faced economic devastation without a single shot fired. Nations that try to help them get sanctioned as well. No other country, not China, not the EU, can isolate economies on this scale. That's real-world power. Losing access to the dollar cripples trade, crashes currencies, and halts imports. It's not just sanctions, it's economic suffocation. For many regimes, this threat is more terrifying than any tank or missile. Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941. 4 years later, 2 atomic bombs ended the war. Iraq invaded Kuwait in 1990. The US led a 35-nation coalition that crushed them in weeks. Even superpowers like Russia and China tread carefully, knowing what full US retaliation could mean. Countries have tested America's limits. Most regret it. We're not glorifying war, but it's important to understand what unmatched global power looks like. If that makes you think twice, hit subscribe. What part of America's strength surprised you most? Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to share this video everywhere it needs to be seen.